Yes, please.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I think this is a continuous series of BNPS 45 age. Today, again, Divyang Bhai, Sadak Bhai, welcome. Today, again, we have Divyang Bhai because this actually, if you just look at the real history, how we organize this session, today's session. Just 3-4 days back, we were just talking about what is the relevant, most important topic. And then thereafter, just Divyang Bhai say, yes, this is the topic which I can really take upon. And we all feel that there is something which is critical, very important for all of us, because Income Tax Act 2025, it's a future for all of us. And today's topic is just look at the 4 pointers provided by Divyang Bhai. It talks about transitional provision from old to new act. Very practical points, very useful for each one of us. Each article staff must understand every pointer of this particular topic and make note down, because we need to implement at every office and location. So with this brief word, now I request Divyang Bhai to take it ahead.
Great. Just a minute. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the this warm introduction, Chintan Bhai. The point of taking this Income Tax Act, let me tell you again and again that after 1961, there is no one who has seen the change in the income tax law. So we are the first and maybe large generation of our time who has seen this change. So either you feel lucky, either you complain, or you find the opportunity. So I see this as a very good opportunity to be the leader in the market. So with this mindset, Income Tax Act 1961, which I was saying will repeal, is now repealed from 31st of March 2026. And we are in the new era wherein Income Tax Act 2025 is applicable in the law of the land, that's India. So the lots of question will be there, that how it will deal, how it will be done, how the different aspect will be dealt. So first aspect I'm dealing with that previous year and assessment year concept, first of all. So in the old Income Tax Act 1961, the concept of previous year, for example, we are talking about the financial year 2025 and 26. So in this year, if anyone has earned the income, that year was called the previous year. And the then after year was called the assessment year. That is, assessment year will be called 26-27. So whenever I say financial year 25-26, previous year 25-26, or assessment year 26-27, both all are same. We are talking about the income earned in financial year 25-26. This is the concept. So now this concept of previous year and assessment year is gone away in the new act. In the new act, only one concept is there, that is tax year. Now tax year is nothing but the previous year, which was used earlier. So in the new act, there is a no assessment year. So whenever they would like to say notice can be issued within 6 years or 3 years from the end of the relevant assessment year, they would say notice will be issued within 7 years or 4 years from the end of the tax year. So that's how they are using the language. Okay. So whenever you are going to do a compliance work, every time tax year will be the use. That is the first change. Second change, I think I would like to share the screen first of all. Just a minute. Can you see the Google Chrome tab?
Yes.
So now what we are doing to learn, everyone would have a question. Yogesh, any question?
No, sorry by mistake.
Okay, no worry. So now everyone would like to know कि भाई ये tax audit आ रहा है, tax audit कब है, ये 44AB applicable है, तो अब नए law में क्या है, 44AB same है कि नहीं है. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हमारा फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या होगा, भाई नए एक्ट में ये सेक्शन कौन सा है, तो ये ढूंढना है. तो आई एम जस्ट मेकिंग दिस प्रेजेंटेशन फॉर एवरीवन हु इज आल्सो देयर इज द आर्टिकल एज वेल. सो इनकम टैक्स एक्ट टाइप कर लीजिए, इनकम टैक्स का जो साइट है incometaxindia.gov.in. I'm going on then. Over here, I'm just going on to Tax Law Act, Income Tax Act 2025. So utility दी हुई है to check the old and the new. Many other ways are there. ICI का भी एक बुकलेट है जिसमें लिखा हुआ है कि भाई पुराना एक्ट, नए एक्ट में प्रोविजन सेक्शन नंबर क्या है और पुराने एक्ट में क्या था, तो उस तरह भी देख सकते हैं. एंड दिस विल बी मोर सुटेबल. तो भाई टैक्स ऑडिट आ गया है और आपको क्वेश्चन है कि भाई टैक्स ऑडिट की प्रोविजन कौन सी है, 44AB. नए एक्ट में वो प्रोविजन क्या है ये नहीं पता, तो उसके लिए क्या करना है, यहाँ पर चले गए, यहाँ एक्ट में इनकम टैक्स 2025, वहां यूटिलिटी होगी, वहां पे क्लिक करिए. तो यहाँ पर आपके पास ऑप्शन है कंपेरिजन क्या करना है, एक्ट करना है तो एक्ट, इसके अलावा रूल्स फॉर्म्स जो भी कंपेयर करना है वो सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो. सो आई विल शो यू ईच वन फॉर विद दी 1 और 2 एग्जांपल. सो एक्ट में मुझे क्वेश्चन क्या है, वही 44AB के सामने कौन सा सेक्शन है, तो आई विल सिलेक्ट ओवर हियर इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 2025 और यहाँ पर सेक्शन नंबर कौन सा है, 44AB. सॉरी, ओल्ड एक्ट में सिलेक्ट करना है 44AB, ये सिलेक्ट कर लिया. सो इन द न्यू इनकम टैक्स एक्ट आपका सेक्शन नंबर कौन सा है, 63 है, स्पेशल प्रोविजन फॉर कंप्यूटिंग प्रॉफिट एंड गेन्स ऑफ बिजनेस प्रोफेशन प्रिज्यूम्ड टैक्सेशन. 44AD भी यहाँ पर आ रहा है, तो हमें टैक्स पर क्लिक करना है और डेफिनेशन दी गई होगी विच कुड बी रिलेवेंट. सो आई एम जस्ट क्लिकिंग ऑन दी दिस लिंक. जस्ट अ मिनट, मैं इसको क्लोज कर देता हूँ. Am I audible?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, so this is section 63 which talks about कि भाई tax rate कब applicable होगा. So limit is 1 crore. If above 1 crore, the tax rate will be applicable if your cash transactions are restricted to 5% only of total turnover, total receipt or total payment. Then your tax audit limit will be 10 crore. So वो सारी provision यहाँ पर आपको देखने मिल जाएगी. ठीक है, डन. नाउ इन दिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट, अगर इसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कोई रूल्स भी होंगे ना, तो रूल्स भी यहाँ दिखते हैं इन सम केसेस. इफ यू वांटेड टू हैव द पैरेलल रीडिंग, यहाँ पे डॉक्यूमेंट ऐड करना है, एक्ट है कौन सा है, इनकम टैक्स एक्ट. या इसके अलावा कंपैरिजन का भी एक ऑप्शन है. जस्ट अ मिनट, व्यू इन पैरेलल रीडिंग, ये रहा, दोनों आ गया. So both the provisions are simultaneously available. So by this way, you can read both the section. Now, let me show you the another way. अब भाई क्वेश्चन है कि भाई फॉर्म 15CA या CB है, वो फाइल करना है. नए फॉर्म में क्या होगा, कौन सा फॉर्म नंबर है, ये नहीं पता. So काम करते हैं, ओवर हियर इनकम टैक्स रूल्स, फॉर्म नंबर कौन सा है, 15CA और CB. Let's select 15CB, which is certificate by chartered accountant. So corresponding form number will be form number 146. ये रहा form. If you wanted to see from which rule this form number is coming, then that rule is already available over here. You can read the rule. If you had a question कि भाई कब ये applicable होगा, this form number 146. Is that clear? Now, any other, for example, my humble request from participant, please mention any rules if you wanted to check. कौन सा rules है? Anyone?
रूल 44A भी देख लो ना दिव्यांग भाई, दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. ऑडिट का रूल है ना, क्या सेक्शन 44A रूल बुक्स का
वो
है.
सेक्शन है सर, पंकज जी, वो सेक्शन है.
बुक्स का है ना, कौन सा,
6FF आई गेस.
हाँ रूल, हाँ एक है रूल 6D वाला भी है ना, रूल 6D या 6D है
पर बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट स्पेसिफाइड प्रोफेशन है, then they need to maintain some specified books of account.
Correct.
Giving a brief, everyone. If we are doing a business or having a profession and our turnover is above particular limit, then section 44AA says that we need to maintain the books of account. Now, which books of account we need to maintain? For business, they are simply saying whatever books of account you would like to maintain, you have to satisfy to AO that your income is correct. So for business, there is no specified books of account. But for profession, like a doctor or having a practicing doctor or engineer, there are specified books of account which they have to maintain. and that specified books of account for that profession is mentioned in rule number 6F. तो ये रहा rule 6F. तो इसका होगा rule number 46. पैरेलल देख लेते हैं. ये रहा 6F और 44AA का रेफरेंस है और यहाँ होगा 62 का रेफरेंस. Because maintenance of the books of account which was mentioned earlier in 44AA is now available in section 62. Then एक और भी चेक कर लेते हैं. Every year we have to file the income tax return in a different ITR form, and that ITR form will be applicable based on the type of income. Am I right?
Yes.
So that type of return, type of income tax return we have to file, that is a mention in rule number 112, if I'm not wrong. 112 or 12? Just a minute. Yes, rule number 12. Rule number 12 says that which ITR form assessee has to file. So that corresponding rule number will be 164. So anyone having a doubt कि भाई कौन सा ITR form applicable है, then my humble request every time mentioning in the session, then don't read the secondary data. What secondary data? You will go to income tax site, over there they have mentioned अगर ये conditions है तो ये rule apply होगा. तो वो सारा secondary data है. If you are reading the reference book, Ready Reckoner or some reference book you are reading, everything is a secondary data. The primary data in this case is a rule itself, that is rule number 12. बहुत कम लोगों को पता होगा कि इस rule से it is a decided that which ITR form is applicable, and that's why every year this rule number 12 is amended to notify that which ITR form it will be applicable for different cases. So that rule number 12 is now rule number 164. Done? Any questions to this part? I have stopped sharing the screen. Just a minute. Okay, so that part is done. So tax year is done. So now, from which year this new act has came into picture? From 1st of April 2026. So now, what will happen to the old Income Tax Act and different things what has been done in the old act? So for that, we are going to refer the last section of the Income Tax Act 2025. And that section number is section number 536, जिसमें लिखा हुआ है कि भी पुराने एक्ट में, when it is written that what will happen about the things done in the old act. So let me give one example. कि भाई in the old act, if you have filed the particular form under section 115 BAC, so that you can go for the old regime. So whether in the new act you have to file that form again, so answer is no. Because under section 536 it is said कि पुराने in the old act whatever form or approval granted, that will continue to be available as a approval or the proper filing. No need to file the new forms. It will so it will be deemed कि आपने already form file किया हुआ है in the this act. Next, so what will happen to the MAT, minimum alternate tax credit, unabsorbed depreciation, unabsorbed business loss which is a carried forward? So what will happen to that? So in that section it is mentioned that whatever loss is allowed to be carried forward in the old law, the Income Tax Act में जो पुराने loss carry forward है, so for how many years the loss is allowed to be carried forward? For example, 8 years. So for how many years you have already carried forward in the old act? So let me say 2 years. So under the new act, it will be allowed to carry forward for the remaining time, that is 6 years. Is that clear? Then another example, if for trust we have granted the registration under section 12AB, so we can take the benefit of section 11 exemption. So that approval is already granted, but under the old act, that is Income Tax Act 1961. So under the new law, whether we have to take that registration again, so answer is no. That clarity is given so that whatever approval is granted under the old law, that will be valid under the new law. for the remaining time period. तो पुराने एक्ट में and the old act for how much time approval is granted, for example 10 years. So उसमें से 2 years has already lapsed. So for remaining 8 years it will be allowed as a registration, and after lapse of the 8 years you have to again apply for the registration. Am I clear? Anyone having a doubt? Anyone having a doubt? My humble request, please put the same in the chat box. Huh? Done. So moving to next. With my humble request, again I'm repeating, if anyone having a doubt, please feel free to ask. Asking a query has nothing to be ashamed of. If you are not able to understand anything, it's completely okay. If I attend the session, believe me, I cannot understood everything. My habit is to understand anything by reading. That's how I learn. Okay, continuous chat turn off. Okay. Pankaj, can you try to just, Chintan bhai, can you try to just put us one message in the chat box? Wo allowed, and I guess.
Yeah, it is very much allowed.
Okay. Yes, great. So, okay, so I'm moving to next. तो ट्रांजिशनल प्रोविजन है. अच्छा, तो अब लॉट्स ऑफ पीपल हैड अ क्वेश्चन कि भाई अभी जो फॉर्म फाइल करना है, फॉर एग्जांपल असेसमेंट ऑर्डर इज पास्ड. तो असेसमेंट ऑर्डर इज पास्ड फॉर असेसमेंट ईयर 24-25. So we need to file the appeal. First appeal. A first appeal has to be filed form number 35 as per old act. तो वो ओल्ड एक्ट के हिसाब से होगा, नए एक्ट के हिसाब से होगा. तो उसका सिंपल आंसर ये है कि भाई आपका ऑर्डर कौन से एक्ट में पास हुआ है, पुराने एक्ट में. आंसर इज यस. देन पुराने एक्ट में जो लिखा है वो एप्लीकेबल होगा. तो अगर आपका असेसमेंट ईयर फॉर एग्जांपल 18-19 है, जिसका सीआईटी अपील हो गया, अभी मैट्रिक ट्रिब्यूनल में है, एंड ट्रिब्यूनल का ऑर्डर 1 साल के बाद आएगा, उसके बाद हाई कोर्ट में गए और उसके बाद सुप्रीम कोर्ट में गए समवेयर इन 2035. तो पुराने एक्ट में जो प्रोविजन है वही प्रोविजन के हिसाब से अपील होगी इन सुप्रीम कोर्ट. दैट्स हाउ वी नीड टू सी. अच्छा, तो नए एक्ट में ऑर्डर कब पास होगा? तो अभी टैक्स ईयर कौन सा चलेगा? 26-27. तो उसका टैक्स ईयर खत्म होने के बाद भी आई थिंक आफ्टर विद इन 15 मंथ्स आपको नोटिस मिलेगी. टैक्स ईयर खत्म मतलब प्रीवियस ईयर. असेसमेंट ईयर के बाद 3 महीने तक, तो टैक्स ईयर के बाद 15 महीने के बाद. So after 15 months of this tax year, we will get the income tax notice. And the first order under Income Tax Act 2025 shall be passed somewhere by 31st of December. That will be 26-27. So 28, it will be 31st of December 2028 May first order will be passed, assessment order under the new act. So that order can be filed against that order. If we need to file the appeal, we need to select the form as per the new act. That is the first appeal one. Okay, done. So this is what we has to look into. And one more aspect to all the partners and all the people who are handling the assessment and the dealing with the department proceedings. So department has issued the circular notification since 1961. So what will happen to those circular notification, whether that will be binding under the new act as well? So to this question, answer is given in the transitionary provision, which is called repeal provision, where it is mentioned कि अगर नया circular notification नहीं आ रहा है, which is a contradictory to the old one, till that all the old notification circular are binding under the new act as well. So let's take an example. If one of our client has failed to file the return, he has not given the details for assessment year 24-25, for example. ठीक है, उसने रिटर्न फाइल नहीं किया. Now in that year there was a refund or there was some loss. So just because return is not filed within the due date, then after, so after means 31st of March 2026 के बाद we cannot file the return for assessment year 24-25. So after that time period, can we file the return to claim the refund? Answer is no. Can we file the return and so that we can say that now loss should be allowed to be carried forward? Answer is no, because provision does not allow it. So in that case, we can there is one circular is issued by CBDT under section 119(2)(b) in somewhere in 2015, which says that for this kind of cases we can file the request to condone the delay in filing the return, and that condonation can be filed with the CBDT or PCIT or may some lower authority. within 6 years from the end of the relevant assessment year. अब ये power कहाँ से दिया हुआ है? Circular से. Now whether the circular is still applicable under the new act, answer is yes. Am I clear? Done? So whatever circular notification you are aware of under the old act, that still is binding under the new act as well, unless the new circular notification is not issued under the new act. Okay, done? Any confusion to this part? So I'm just showing slide brief of the section of 536 now. Just give me 2 minutes. And just wanted to tell you that under the new act, rules are notified and most of the forms are also notified. There are chances कि site पे वो form available ना हो या फिर active ना हो, ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है. But the rules and forms are notified. And that rules and forms can be downloaded from the income tax portal, जो अभी दिखाया था. Just a minute, let me share the screen now. So, what is visible over here is the new Income Tax Act 2025. Here, so we are referring. Now, लिखा हुआ है, this act may be called Income Tax Act 2025. It extends to the whole of India and save as otherwise provided in this act. It shall came into force on the 1st of April 2026. ये picture में आ गया. Now moving to section number 536, which is the last section. Here it is. Visible, everyone? My humble request to everyone, that whenever you had a query, what will be applicable between the old and new act, always refer this section. This will be quite relevant to all the CAs and the partners. The Income Tax Act 1961 is hereby repealed. Irrespective of the repeal of the Income Tax Act 1961, hereinafter referred as a repealed Income Tax Act, and subject to subsection 3, nothing shall affect the previous operation of the repealed Income Tax Act and order or anything duly done or suffered thereunder. Meaning thereby, if we Purane Act, in the old act, some demand is raised, obviously that is still payable. Just because new act has came into picture, it doesn't mean then under the old act, whatever demand is due, that is not payable now. Next, nothing shall affect any right, privilege, obligation or liability acquired, accrued or incurred under the repealed Income Tax Act or order under such repealed act. So if you have some right or privilege or obligation or liability, so demand के context में हम read कर सकते हैं. Moving to next. This is section 536, subsection 2, clause number C. That's how we read this provision. Section 536, subsection 2, clause number C. The provision of the repealed Income Tax Act shall continue to apply to any proceeding pending on the date of the commencement of this act and to any proceeding initiated on or after 1st April 2026. So अगर 1st April 2026 को कोई proceeding pending है, that will be governed by the old act. If after 1st April 2026 any proceedings are initiated, for which year? In respect of this one, in respect of any tax year beginning before 1st April 2026. तो अगर आपका tax year 1st April 2026 से पहले का है, मतलब previous year 25-26 या उससे पहले का साल, उसके context में कोई भी proceeding है, then which provision will apply? New or old? Then old provision will apply. Is that clear?
Yes.
Any doubt?
No.
Okay, done. Moving to the next one. Any proceeding for the imposition of any penalty in respect of any tax year beginning before 1st of April 2026 may be initiated, and any such penalty may be imposed under the repealed Income Tax Act as if this act had not been enacted. This act मतलब नया act. Okay, तो इसका example ले ले. So let me take an example that assessment year is a 24-25. उसका order अभी pass हो गया. ऑन 31st ऑफ मार्च 2026 को, तो उस केस में ऑर्डर में एडिशन हो गया. बिकॉज ऑफ द एडिशन वी हैव फाइल्ड द फर्स्ट अपील. व्हेनेवर वी आर फाइलिंग द फर्स्ट अपील, we can file a reply to the AO that don't initiate the penalty or keep the penalty proceeding in abeyance. So assessing officer will keep the penalty proceeding in abeyance. Why? Because if CIT appeal, that is first appeal, confirm the addition later on, then AO at that time can levy the penalty as well, because extra time is given in the law, that is section 275. So because of that, AO will keep the proceeding, penalty proceeding in abeyance. So let me say CIT अपील में गए, उसका ऑर्डर आ गया, तो उसका ऑर्डर आ गया फॉर एग्जांपल अप्रैल 2026 में अपील फाइल की, हियरिंग नोटिस बाद में आई, ऑर्डर आया, ऑर्डर आने में बहुत टाइम लगता है. सो लेट मी से ऑर्डर इज रिसीव्ड समवेयर इन द मार्च 2030. उसके बाद वी हैव अगेन फाइल द अपील टू ट्राइब्यूनल. सो ट्राइब्यूनल में अगर अपील फाइल करते हैं, देन आफ्टर आल्सो वी कैन आस्क टू असेसिंग ऑफिसर टू कीप द पेनल्टी प्रोसीडिंग इन अबेयंस, बिकॉज आफ्टर रिसीविंग द असेसमेंट ऑर्डर, अगर उसमें एडिशन कंफर्म हुआ है, then after AO can levy the penalty then after as well. So assessment appeal में गए, कहाँ? ट्राइब्यूनल में. सेकंड अपील, ट्राइब्यूनल पास दी ऑर्डर समवेयर इन 2033, March 2033 for example. Okay, so in 2033 we receive the tribunal order for assessment year 24-25. So then after addition is confirmed, so then after assessing officer would like to levy the penalty. So कौन से एक्ट में वो एप्लीकेबल होगा पेनल्टी? नए एक्ट में या पुराने एक्ट में? इट विल बी अंडर द ओल्ड एक्ट. दिस इज व्हाट इज मेंशन ओवर हियर. फिर से रीड कर लीजिए आराम से. Done? Shall I move to next? Next, any proceeding pending on the commencement of this act before any income tax authority or any authority constituted under the repealed Income Tax Act, appellate tribunal, any court by way of application, appeal, reference, revision, or by any other means, shall be continue dispose of as if this act had not been enacted. तो मैं मान लेता हूँ भाई 1 अप्रैल 2026 को मेरा असेसमेंट ईयर 2015-16 है, जिसकी अपील ट्राइब्यूनल में पेंडिंग है. सो वो प्रोसीडिंग्स पुराने एक्ट के हिसाब से ऑब्वियसली गवर्न होगी. एंड अगर if tribunal confirm the addition and then after assessee file the appeal to high court, so again the provision of the old act will be applied obviously, क्योंकि for assessment 15-16 जो पुराने एक्ट में लिखा है वही एप्लीकेबल होगा. Done? So that's how this is done. So I'm not reading the remaining part. Loss का नीचे लिखा हुआ है. And one more thing है, if you have filed any form to exercise any particular option, for example under section 115 BAC, you have exercised the option to go for the old scheme. So whether you need to file that form again in the new law, answer is no. Why? Because of this clause number F. पढ़ लीजिए. Which is saying कि आपने पुराने एक्ट में अगर कोई फॉर्म फाइल किया है, ऑप्शन एक्सरसाइज किया है, then option will continue to apply under the new law as well. सॉरी कल पढ़ लीजिए. Done? Now so अब नया है भाई, फॉर एग्जाम्पल फॉर असेसमेंट के 2024-25 refund is due. जो the refund shall now be granted somewhere after 1st of April 2026. So in that context, on that refund, which interest rate will prevail? Interest rate mentioned in the old act or new act? तो उसका आंसर यहाँ लिखा हुआ है. Shall I read that? Where in respect of any proceeding relating to any tax year beginning before the 1st April 2026, तो अपना tax year कौन सा है? Assessment year 24-25, so tax year will be 23-24. So there is before 1st April 2026. a refund fall due after commencement of this act, or default is made after such commencement in the payment of any sum due under such proceeding. तो उसके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में रिफंड है या सम पेबल अमाउंट इज नॉट पेड विद इन द टाइम. So default is there. The provision of this act, that is new act, relating to interest payable by the central government on refund interest payable by the assessee for default shall apply for the period after the commencement of this act. Meaning thereby, if that refund is due, so up to 31st of March 2026, interest as mentioned in the old act will be allowed, and after 1st April 2026, interest will be allowed at the rate which is mentioned in the new act. अगर दोनों एक्ट में सेम इंटरेस्ट रेट है, then it will not make any difference. But still, this is what provision is. So I'm taking a reverse example. So my some demand is due of assessment year 2015-16. So up to 31st of March 2026, on that demand, interest will be counted as per the rate as mentioned in the old act. But after 31st of March 2026, on that demand, interest will be calculated at that rate which is mentioned in the new act. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes.
Done. Moving to next. Clause number H. My humble request to everyone, please pay attention. Whenever you had a confusion that old or new act is में कौन सा लगेगा, this is the most applicable provision. So please open this section and please read the same. And if you have paid attention over here as of now, then it will be extremely easy to understand भाई कहाँ पढ़ना है आपको. So reading point number H. अच्छा H कौन सा H क्या कह रहा है कि we have claimed some deduction or exemption. So let's take an example. We have taken an exemption under section 54. What is exemption of section 54 under the old act? I have sold the long-term capital asset in the form of the residential house. So against that long-term capital gain, if I purchase the residential house within 2 years, or if I construct the residential house within 3 years, whatever option you are available, then in that case, the capital gain, long-term capital gain will be exempt. If I invest at least amount which is a minimum of long-term capital gain, तो long-term capital gain की amount में invest कर रहा हूँ तो exemption मिल जाएगा पूरी amount पे. Now, by the time if I purchase the property or construct the property, before that I have to file the return of that year. For example, assessment year 26-27. So by 31st of July 2026, I have to file the return. तो उससे पहले तो आपको घर परचेज नहीं हुआ या कंस्ट्रक्ट नहीं हुआ, then you claim the exemption by depositing the equivalent amount into capital deposit scheme. ठीक है, ये provision है. If you have deposited into capital deposit scheme and then after if you have purchased or constructed the house from that amount, your exemption is valid. If you have not utilized that amount fully, then some of the exemption will be withdrawn. So let me say, when after 3 years, 3 years कब खत्म हो रहे हैं इसके? तो प्रीवियस ईयर है, असेसमेंट ईयर से परचेज ऑफ जो प्रॉपर्टी सेल की है ना, वहां से 3 इयर्स में आपको कंस्ट्रक्ट करना है. तो वो कब खत्म हो रहा है? तो आई एम अज्यूमिंग इट इज समवेयर कंप्लीटेड इन सितंबर 2028, जब 3 साल खत्म हो रहे, तो उससे पहले मैंने कंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं किया. सो इन दैट ईयर वट एवर एग्जेम्पशन आई हैव क्लेम्ड, तो मैंने एग्जेम्पशन कितना क्लेम किया? फॉर एग्जांपल 30 लाख का. So that will be tax in that tax year. कौन सा tax year है? September 2028 वाला, मतलब tax year 28-29. तो now what is this clause is saying? तो भी कोई आपने exemption लिया था जिसकी condition fulfill नहीं हुई है, then that will be charged under the new law. In the same way as it is said in the old act. तो पुराने एक्ट में क्या लिखा हुआ है? वो 30 लाख चार्जेबल होगा as a long term capital gain. In which year? In that year in which the time period of 3 years is expired. So tax year 28-29 में taxable होगा. So in short, clause number H पढ़ने के बाद, if you say कि भाई मैंने ये नहीं पढ़ा और नया एक्ट नहीं आया, then how the old exemption would have been withdrawn, in the same way it will be withdrawn in the new act as well. So कोई change नहीं है. That's what the best part is. ठीक है? Done? So now that's how the same you need to read. Clause number जो H J है ना, That talks about the any appointment approval. तो अप्रूवल मतलब 12AB का है, 80G का है, any notification order or rule जो पुराने एक्ट में है, that will be binding in the new act as well, unless and until some new notification circular is not issued. ठीक है, done. So I'm just closing this. So now, okay, done. So I think in the if you have read this announcement part, I have also mentioned कि भाई अपील में गए बिना how we can conclude the addition or some disputed deduction or disallowance. तो वो मैंने लिखा था. So for that I am starting the session. So please pay attention. We have very few minutes are there. I think can I go up to 4:45? 4:45. Done. Done. So please pay attention. अगर for example आपका bogus donation is very much going on. So donation is given to political party. तो उसका notice आ रहा है. तो उसमें अगर अपील में नहीं जाना है तो what we can do? तो the new amendment by Finance Act 2026 is there. तो उसके context में just I'm sharing a particular screen. Is that visible?
Yes.
Great. So, just a minute. So, I'm not able to scroll it down. Just a minute. Need to stop the presentation. Mm-mm. Just 1 minute. Huh? There is some issues there in the Word file, I guess. What I'm trying to share. Whatever. Without that, we are moving ahead. Okay. So some notices are received for the bogus donation or for any kind of deduction which are very small. तो अगर कल जाके addition हो जाता है तो we are not able to file the appeal. In those kind of cases, what can be done? So in that context, there is one amendment is made by Finance Act 2026. Earlier, updated return was not allowed to file if a reassessment notice or any income tax assessment proceeding is started. But now, after this budget, it can be filed. Updated return can be filed for that year for which reassessment notice is issued. अगर 30th June 2026 से पहले for assessment year, it will be 24 assessment year 25-26 की नोटिस आएगी. अगर वो उस साल में कोई डिडक्शन में प्रॉब्लम है, नोटिस आ गई, उसके बाद your client would like to file the updated return, can it be filed? Answer is yes. So in the updated return, if you are filing the return within a 12 months from the end of the relevant assessment year, सो टैक्स कितना था? एक्स्ट्रा टैक्स, टैक्स तो प्लस इंटरेस्ट है, पर एक्स्ट्रा टैक्स कितना था उसके अलावा? 25%। पर अगर नोटिस आ गई है तो 35%। सेम वे अगर वो टाइम पीरियड 12 से 24 मंथ्स है, सो एक्स्ट्रा टैक्स कितना है? 35%। यहां पर कितना होगा? इट विल बी 45%, and that's where 10% is increased. So what I'm trying to say, अगर लग रहा है कि भाई client is wrong, we will not file the appeal because quantum of the addition is less, you can file the updated return. That is the first thing. Second thing, अगर ये suitable नहीं है, then another aspect order pass हो गया है, then what can be happen? In the income tax, there is a dispute resolution committee. In that context, some sections are there which says if your addition is not more than 10 lakh and your assessed or return income, I'm not sure, is not more than 50 lakh. If that is a scenario, whatever addition has been made, तो उस केस में just file the application to DRC in form number 34BC, and after filing that application, if you are ready to pay the tax plus interest, which is mentioned in the notice of demand, then penalty waiver will be given. There is another part. And if this is not, for example, उससे भी better option कौन सा है? If penalty is initiated under section 270A for underreporting, not for misreporting. Underreporting में penalty होगी 50%, misreporting में penalty होगी 200%. अगर 50% वाली penalty initiate की है, then under section 270AA, you can file an application under form number 68. If you file that application, you pay the demand as mentioned in the notice of demand within 30 days from the order, then immunity from the penalty will be given. No question will be asked. This is the third option. But the third option is available only if penalty is under section 270A for underreporting, not for misreporting. So that is a very good part. This provision can be in mind to resolve the demand if we are not interested to go in the appeal. So that's all. Hope that you have enjoyed the session. And if any queries is there, you can contact me in the chat, or number is already there in the our announcement section of the group or the community in WhatsApp. Thank you. Chintan bhai, are you there?
Thank you, Divyang bhai, for the wonderful session. I hope everyone has benefited from the session as I have. Generally, we don't hear about income tax so much, but definitely today's session, and from the basic you have started, so a lot of things have become clear. Transition has become very clear, and we hope to go to department someday with you and benefit from your experience. Thank you so much for the wonderful session.
Then thank you everyone for joining over here.
Thank you.